Okay, so let's talk about how we started off. We started off really well. Pre-season, we looked strong. The team came in, they gelled well. Costa looked good in goal. Everything seemed to be going well. You guys agreeing with that sort of idea, or are you thinking anything different?
Well, yeah, the pre-season was good, but I don't really understand where all of the physicality went after the pre-season. We played the games like it was a league game, and everything looked great, and it just seems to have disappeared. But it's not just the physicality, it's the intensity, the one-on-one battles. For me, I don't know, it just seems to have dropped off, and I know most people want to see that. So, is that the goalie though? Is that the situation with the goalie?
I think that certainly has an impact on it because we've changed our patterns to cover for the goalie. I think we'd have been a little more careful with the physicality. We're trying to keep the area clear in front of Joe, and that's impacting. The D isn't skating up the ice as far. They're not attacking as much. The wings are coming back a lot more, and I think that's certainly affecting our ability on the ice.
Yeah, that sounds like far too in-depth and knowledgeable an answer for this programme.
Sorry,
Anyway,
so
can you tone it down, please?
Yeah, so what we're saying is we were really good pre-season and now we're a bit lame. Is that where we're going, or?
Yeah, I think the fact that we changed it, I think, so making it more straightforward, the fact that we've had to change netminders due to the injury to Dan, I think that has caused us issues because we're skating a different patterns now, basically.
Yeah. But I think though, like if you look at the Belfast game, okay, you know, it sort of fell apart at the end, but really, if we'd have just sort of played in that same manner, realistically, we don't have a huge chance of winning without the starting netminder against the top teams anyway. No. So at home, let's go out and entertain. You know, that's what people are really excited about this season, especially more so after last season where, you know, we got bullied in our own rink, you know, which hasn't happened for a while.
Didn't we lose the last 25 games last season?
Yeah,
it was ridiculous, wasn't it? It was a lot of games in a row that we didn't do very well.
No,
at the end of the year.
We struggled in the game, like the game where Matt got injured, for instance. The fans afterwards were screaming because we didn't go out and sort it out. We didn't, and we should have sorted it out on the ice before that, really, because Mark Smith had already been injured by the same guy, and we didn't deal with it, and then we lost Mac because of it.
Yeah.
So going into this season, we've got guys who can deal with it now, and I think we have to give them our full backing and trust them to do their jobs on the ice.
Actually, this segues quite well into our next point.
I was thinking that
same thing. We want to talk about Andrew Conboy because he seems to have caused a fair bit of controversy with Devils fans and vaguely across the league. He's come in early on in the pre-season games. He got booed out. He punched some people. Might have headbutted somebody. What are our thoughts?
Well, it was a pretty decent headbutt.
He's got people talking.
Exactly.
And I think that's what we're looking at. There's people from other teams talking. They love to talk about players in the past. They always like to talk about Brad. Fantastic, and they're not talking about Conboy, and that's what we needed. We needed a guy up there to look after the guys, a guy who would get people in to watch him play, a guy who would get the rest of the league worrying, and that's what we've got.
No, and I think, you know, isn't this partly, you know, why we've the benefit of having the 4 lines as well? I know this guy is actually, we're probably doing him a disservice here. He's a pretty useful player. He's had 20 odd points in an AHL season, for goodness sake. You don't get that without being a decent player. But, you know, there is an element there. Okay, we're losing something if he does get chucked out, but we do have more of that option this year, whereas, you know, in previous seasons when we've had injuries, partly as a result of maybe not sticking up for ourselves, where we've gone down to silly low numbers and guys haven't been able to play as well. So,
as we saw last year, when we had those injuries at the end of the season, we really tailed off.
Yeah.
So a bit of depth this year, 4 lines, people standing up for each other, and guys like Conboy going out there and actually defending the team.
Yeah. And you see the effect it has on the rest of the team. You know, we had a fight from Piggott in the first game. I know he's pretty up for it anyway. Let's face it,
it was an awesome fight from Piggott.
It was
unexpected and awesome.
Yeah. And you got Ben Davis, you know, chirping back at people, you know, getting stuck in. People like Mark Smith, he's not worried about, you know, with guys who are perhaps less physical normally in games, but they're there because they know other people have got their back. And I think I've been really pleased with generally the support he's had from the fan base, even though he's been chucked out pretty harshly the other week as well, to be honest with you.
That was something else. Was it to do with officiating that he's having to change his style? Let's face it, he came in, first game, got tossed.
Yeah.
And he did deserve the first game tossing. The next game, not so much.
Yeah.
And then this weekend, I think he was unlucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a little bit harsh, but unfortunately when you draw blood, you're always going to be up against it.
Exactly.
And I think in those situations you have to take on board what Franny said, that you have to pick your moments.
Yeah.
And you know that sometimes if you make that hit, there's a chance you might be out of the game. And as you pointed out, he can play, and we need to see him on the ice play, and we need that physicality, but we need it at the right times. Don't try and lift the guy up who's already on the deck. Leave him down there. Take him another point in the game.
Yeah.
don't waste your opportunity. At a later point in the game, he could have checked Keith, or they could have ended up in a fight. You don't know. That would have been better, I think.
Yeah. It's difficult though, isn't it? In that
Yeah.
spur of the moment, when you see one of our top players just get hit like that, pretty viciously. It was a big hit, and it was he was shielded by the other player as well. And if Conboy doesn't do that there, okay, ideally, if he's thinking clearly, maybe he lets him up. But for his team, is he doing a better job there in terms of the seasons we go on, the backing he's going to get from the team from that move, that he went in straight to defend Blight after that hit? There's that side of things as well. Whereas last year, you'd have guys taking a beating or getting hit, or getting elbowed, and nobody anywhere near to help out. I don't know what that does for team spirit, but I would have thought this year there has to be a bit more of that if we play in that way anyway.
But moving on from that, with what do you make of the changes with Adam Ross going and Jake Morissette coming in? How do you see that? And one little point I'd like to raise, you were a bit surprised that there wasn't much physicality from Ross for a guy that was so big?
He came in, and I was expecting him to be a big D-man. A little bit like Wes Jarvis was for us.
Yeah.
In that kind of big guy, he's going to clear the crease, he's going to skate well, and he's going to throw his stuff around. We haven't seen it yet, and I know it's early days and he hasn't had a good chance to bed in with the team, but we haven't seen it from him.
No.
So I think we were always concerned, or I was before the season, that we didn't quite have enough firepower up front. With Ross going off the D, we've got options there. We've moved Max back, Josh can play on D, Rupert can play on D. I think we've got the D covered. So Morissette, to me, brings another dimension. He's played with Lord before.
Yep.
He's played with Stu at the Gorillas before. He looks to me like a good pickup.
Yeah, but is he going to get more points than Max would get over the course of the season? I mean, it's difficult to say, obviously, but he seems reasonable. What is he? Just under a point a game CHL a few years ago. Then a bit of a patchy year in Germany last year, is it? Yeah.
Similar sort of build to Ben Davis. He's quick. He's going to be quick around. He's going to work in the corners.
Yeah.
I think he will give us something we haven't got at the moment, because we're not seeing the best of Mac yet. Don't think he's quite back to full fitness yet, and maybe not seeing the best of Blighty yet, and maybe a guy like him will have to bring that out in the other guys.
Exactly, and he's played with Lord, so he's going to know how Lord plays the game.
Yeah.
So if he's got someone to link up with that he already knows, that might help.
And that's
Lord, can he play the game?
Yeah, really impressed with him, very impressed.
No, that's good. Yeah, I'm up with that.
Yeah.
What do you make of the officials so far this season? What's your take on that? Do you think we're seeing the consistency that we were looking at? Do you think Hansen is going to make the difference, bringing Hansen back?
It's a tough one. I know he got a lot of applause as a ref, and when he retired, everyone the hands up for Hansen and all that. I've always thought he judged Devils games a bit harshly. I've always seen that. I felt like when we were in Scotland, we were going to come away with penalties no matter what we did. I mean, he made the right decision on Conboy, I think. Play it by ear, isn't it? See how he goes, I think.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Wasn't he the ref who was in charge in the last game Weller played as well when he got tossed at the end of the playoff game? Was he the ref that was in charge?
I think he
of
might
that
well
as
have been,
yeah. Pretty sure that
was harsh.
That felt harsh there. But I mean, I think he'll probably, hopefully call things fairly. But we've seen a couple of incidents this week where he's been called in again, hasn't he? And, we've got the one game ban for Henley at Nottingham for... It looked quite nasty, I have to say. If that had been on me, I would probably still be unconscious, to be honest. But
well, if that wasn't a sucker punch, I don't know what is.
Yeah, so 1 game for that, 4 games for something else, wasn't
it?
Harvey,
Coventry.
Yeah.
Seems harsh. Harvey's offence didn't look as bad to me. If anything, it was similar.
Yeah.
On scale, I would have said. So I think they're going to have that issue with consistency again. We've talked about. Cowan in Scotland, did you hear the reports back on that?
Haven't seen that yet.
The goal that was ruled out, the Fife goal against Panthers, who was definitely in the net, was ruled out.
Oh, right.
Clearly in the net, all the replay showed it was in the net. Apparently he had a horrific game.
Was there a man increase on that one, or is that not the case?
I think they claimed that the net had moved, but the net moved after the puck was in the net, from what you could see on the replay. But he ruled it off. At worst, I would have thought the shot should have been taken again, because the netminder knocked the net off. Yeah. It wasn't the attacking guy's fault.
Yeah.
So in that case, all the penalties that we see could all be the same. The netminder just knocks the net off.
But there's an underlying issue here, isn't there? And I'd be surprised if 99% of fans in the league didn't feel the same. And there's got to be something done to improve the standard of officiating at the moment. We're trying to push a professional product. I think there's arguments that it's not completely professional in the whole way it's run, certainly, but you can see there are efforts being made, But while you've got lack of support probably overall for officials and training and things like that, for me, you've got to have 2 officials per game as well. I think it's, you know, it's ridiculous. I think, you know, while we're still seeing that, we're not going to have that sort of quality product, because the guy with a whistle, as you see in many other sports as well, has the ability to, you know, dictate how a game goes. And we've just got to see way more investment in that. And when you actually think about it, you know, 10p off a ticket per fan, 40,000 people going to watch hockey every week, that's $4,000. That's going to pay for some serious help, isn't it? So,
yeah.
I mean, and I'm sure that, you know, I'd be surprised if there's hardly any fans who wouldn't like to see that improve, because it's one of the big talking points week in, week out. Isn't
It's always a sparking point with fans, isn't it? That we're never happy with the officials we get. And you're right, more training, more investment would help, and it's getting the league to realise they need to spend some money on it.
Yeah,
I'd like to see them using the ref analysis system, and going back and having a look at incidents that happened during the game and analyse their performances.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, have a look at it. Having read the rule book again over the weekend out of interest, it does make you question some of the decisions. Some decisions that you see are obviously too lenient, and some are incorrect. You can't expect the guys to be perfect all the time. There has to be an element of discretion, but where's the line? And
they're not, you know, these guys are working in the week as well, aren't they? You know, so
exactly.
The more help that they get, you know, and the more backing they get, you know, from some sort of central. So hopefully, perhaps that's what Hansen can bring to it. He's a guy who's been there, and he's been on both sides. He's a player and a ref. Hopefully he's got a bit more sway than some people.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed he can get something in there and improve things a little bit.
Well, certainly more than the previous guy.
I mean, what John mentioned there was the ref analysis system, which I think we should look at some point in the future. It does look like a great idea.
Yeah, that'd be ace.
So
moving on from there.
Yeah.
Weekend's games coming up. Stars away.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to lose.
Well, if we go on current form, we're going to get absolutely spanked. What's going on in Dundee?
We're looking at a tough match there. They got their top line is all scoring.
Yeah.
The guys like Whirl, who have got real skill, they're scoring, and that netminder is something else at the moment.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's on a roll. How long he can maintain that form, I don't know, but he's really on a roll. He's a real find. And you've got to say that he's doing a good job with the guys.
He is. He was in the press today saying that he's really wants to go out there and win this year, and that his job is to get a team that wins. He wants to be the lowest scoring forward on that team, and that's what he's going for this season. And it looks like so far he's got that.
Yeah. Well, it's like any model. I mean, this league is, you know, as much as it's about the hockey, you've got to look at the business side of things as well. You know, and from their point of view, if they're winning their games at home and they're beating big teams at home, firstly they're going to be in with a shout of, you know, of getting some success overall, but also they're going to get people in the building, aren't they? And that's great, really, for hockey and strengthening that conference.
Actually, someone we were talking about with us earlier on as well is getting bums on the seats.
Yeah.
So I think this year's team, like Dundee are going to do, we're going to see a real feel-good factor around the rink.
Yeah.
We're going to see what Coventry saw last year, which is a load of people coming in to watch fun hockey.
But the problem is, that's great. Warm-up games are fantastic. They did more publicising for the club than probably many flyers and anything like that can do. But then when you watch what happened against Belfast in that last period, and it wasn't so much the result, but it was the clear lack of application. You know, people go in there expecting to see guys work for the whole game, and I'm not sure. I didn't feel like I saw that. You know, and I think that's what people want to see. You know,
and unfortunately, a lot of fans voted with their feet. People were streaming out towards the end, which is horrible to see.
We definitely lost our focus and shape.
Yeah, we did.
Towards the end of that game. We weren't on the ice basically. Some of the because you heard some of the commentary back from Belfast, and they were saying what a fantastic goal that was scored by Kiefer, for instance.
Yeah.
Against most of the netminders, it never would have gone in. If the guys had been playing properly, he never would have got the shot. He had so much space, so much time, too easy.
Yeah.
Those are the years. I know GC's all that. Those are the years we've got to clear up. You can't have these top quality guys having loads of space and time, because they will score. Even against La Costa, they're going to trouble us if we're going to play like that.
Exactly.
I mean, maybe we should talk about Belfast more next time we're playing them. But there was a lot of controversy, and there always is when we play Belfast. People saying they're cowards, whatever else, but we'll talk about that when we're playing them, yeah?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So, Stars away, we're a bit reluctant, aren't we?
Yeah,
can I say that?
I think it could be a tough night. I think Greg will probably go well for us in the net. I'd be surprised he doesn't. I'm sure G will have changed the patterns around a little bit. Morissette will be in. They will be playing differently up front. Yeah. D will play differently. We'll play with more speed.
Maxi on D, do we think?
Max will play on D.
Yeah.
We'll play the D. We'll play more speed on the D. We'll try and keep them away from the netminder as much as we can. don't have a lot of size on their front line, on their first line, but it is a line that's very capable of scoring if they get chances. So.
And I think as well, like just mentioning Max there on D. I mean, I think that's something we've lacked, is that kind of outlet from defence this year. Belfast just chewed us up in the neutral zone, didn't they, when we played there?
Definitely.
And I think if he can provide that, he's got all the skills you need, and the vision as well. So fingers crossed we get a bit more momentum going forward, be able to get the puck deeper there. But as tough a game as that is, and is tough, like. It's one of those again, isn't it? If we win that one after the come behind victory against Hull as well, suddenly you get a bit of confidence, and we know what that does.
You go on a roll, the guys start to believe, you start to see more of the tweets about great away win and great feeling on the bus and all that sort of stuff, and the guys start to believe.
The bus legs don't matter so much against Nottingham when he won a game, do they?
No. So and then Sunday night, Nottingham Challenge Cup, Coach Corey and his team of guys.
Not as good a team this year, I don't think, but
they had an awful weekend last weekend, didn't they?
They're not gelling yet. They don't look. Cable isn't playing as well. They don't look as good at the moment. They flew last year. You've got to be fair. Every game I saw them play, I actually enjoyed watching them play, which is something I wouldn't normally say. It was a bit of a privilege to see a team play so well. The best I've seen a team play in this league for a long time.
Exactly. I think one thing's like definitely for sure though, like for me, and I think for a lot of people, Panthers games, they're always good, entertaining. And to be honest, most of the time they bring the best out of the Devils as well, because they generally, there's been a few, but certainly the last couple of seasons, they've come with with a good attitude and worked hard, and I think we've raised our game to that as well. So
it's one that I always pick. If I've got someone like a mate who wants to watch hockey, doesn't watch hockey, I'll always say, come to a Panthers game, watch Panthers. Just because it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, well, they've got the mix, haven't they? Because they can afford it, but they've got the mix. They've got the character guys, they've got the skill guys. They've got everything really that you like to see, and it does bring the best out. So
I think they're missing Lepine a bit at the moment.
Yeah,
he was a good guy for them. Lepine, he wasn't well liked around the league by a lot of people, but for the right reasons.
Check it to the head, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he was a tough guy who did a tough guy's job, and he could play a bit.
Yeah.
And I think this year definitely they're not quite as fierce to look at.
Yeah.
And I think we have got a chance against them, and no matter who's in the night for us.
Especially if we win the night before, I think we've just have a bit of momentum.
Yeah.
But
we're taking away with.
We've got a chance home. I think any team's first game in our rink should be their toughest, shouldn't it, as well? Because it's something else, isn't it? Especially they've been playing up in Nottingham. Okay, they've had a few games in Scotland and things like that. But coming into that small pad, it's a totally different thing, isn't it? For the goalie as well. I know he's been there before and everything, but still getting used to that without the training on that rink. Hopefully, we'll be able to do something. And
hopefully we can unsettle them. I think we take the body early.
Yeah.
We put plenty of big hits in the first couple of shifts, show them what we're all about, scare them a bit. Make them feel nervous. They know when they come down that end, they're going to get taken to the boards, and it's going to be uncomfortable. Yeah. Make it rough.
And get the crowd into it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even on a Sunday, they'll bring plenty of fans down, hopefully Nottingham, and get it going.
For the Panthers, we know what we're looking for, tough physical games, so guys like Conboy stepping up.
Yeah.
Who's it for the Panthers? Who's it going to be this year? Is it Henley?
Well, I would have said so, but he's going to need to be able to control himself. It's just a bit like we said about Conboy, but Henley will need to control himself, because the punch he threw when was it Fife?
Yeah.
You can't go doing that in games, because he won't be long and he'll get a lengthy ban.
Yeah.
From what I understand, he's a guy who can play hockey, and they'll need him on the ice. But apart from that, nobody's really shouting about tough Panthers players this season. No one's really saying, oh yeah, he's a dangerous guy, you don't want to mix it with him. People are talking about our team. Yeah. Plumpton and Conboy.
And we've got the depth of toughness, and that's the thing we've got to really play on, isn't it? Is that depth. So
What do we think Matt Myers is going to do against Panthers? First game against him.
Score.
Hopefully, hopefully he's going to score.
He's that kind of guy, isn't he?
Yeah. Hopefully, skating the offensive zone, facing the right way, would do it for me. Because as much as I enjoy seeing skilled players, I don't really want to see guys trying to do 360s and score when we're in a game where we're struggling. And we need to be making chances and scoring. And for me, Matt's game against Braehead was the worst I've seen him play, and I've been very impressed with him so far. But it didn't really work for him on the night. I don't know why. It just didn't seem to go for him on the night. He'd probably agree with that. We tried to do, and Matt wasn't the only one who's guilty of it, we tried to do fancy stuff, when I think if we'd done good, honest, hard work, we probably would have got that. Because their netminder was giving us some really horrible rebounds at one point. But he started to get more confident as the game progressed, because we weren't really doing anything. And by the end, he was really playing out of his skin. So I think certainly this time we've got a simple hockey tends to work better than fancy hockey most of the time.
Yeah.
And I think we move it up and down the ice, we keep control of it, we make it physical, we make it difficult in our zone, and we create chances for Morrison to put away.
So more worried about Stars away the Panthers at home. Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think Stars away, if that netminder is playing, and it's not a one-man team,
No.
but if that netminder is on the form that he's been on, that even when you break through the D, he's been making some tremendous saves, and he's going to be tough to beat in the night. You're going to need 2 men up to beat him. They're going to need to work him. So
They're going to need to work him.
they definitely will need to work him on the night. I'm not talking about run the netminder. What I mean is move him around in the crease, make it difficult. Let's see how fast he is side to side. Let's see what he's got. Let's see what he's like stick side and glove side. Really test him. You know, stick the guys up there.
And if that fails, run him.
Yeah, if that fails, stick 3 guys up. No, if that's not working for us, we'll have to try something else. But he will have a weakness. Every netminder has a weakness somewhere. None of them are perfect at everything. Even the top NHL netminders have a weakness somewhere. G will have been looking at that video. He'll know where his weakness is. And that's the area we'll be attacking.
Yeah, good stuff.
Cool.
So moving on, some news from G's testimonial today, which is a bit of good news, really, isn't it? The return of Brad Voth, back on the ice in Cardiff, icing up and playing, lacing up and skating.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
it's gonna be, yeah. I mean, I think someone said it was his birthday weekend or something.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think it might actually be his birthday on the day of the game.
Birthday of the day.
So I don't know what his playing will be
drunken
like,
Brad
to be honest with you.
Voth, skating up and playing. That should be good for a laugh.
I think the fact that the Brad is going to be skating, that will be enough to fill the rink up.
Exactly.
So everybody wants to see Brad play. Everybody knows that we were probably robbed of seeing Brad towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
He probably shouldn't be finished playing ice hockey yet, really. Brad was still playing a lot better than some of the guys we've seen in the league now.
But will he get chucked out though? Do you think of the testimonial?
Well, I'm not quite sure who's on the other team yet, but if there's anybody on there I don't like Derek Campbell, for instance, then he's more than welcome to take him.
Oh dear.
Preferably 3rd or 4th man in would be good.
Good stuff. So, are we about wrapped up for this evening?
Yeah, I think we've talked a lot, haven't we?
I think so.
No, we're not. No.
We're not wrapped up.
No, production. No, we're not. Keep going. Let's just keep talking. Right.
That was the director there in the earpiece.
Okay, so what, obviously it would be criminal with this new chap coming in, Morissette, if we didn't start singing Alanis Morissette songs at the game. Which songs will you be singing, Skip?
I don't know. I mean, obviously we've been making really bad, isn't it, ironic jokes pretty much all day.
Yeah.
And they've been pretty horrific so far. So if we can get that in somehow, that's going to be genius.
That's going to be ace.
I don't know her music too well. It's kind of too whiny for me anyway. I don't know about you. But if we can get in it, isn't it ironic? That'd be great.
Yeah.
For me.
I'm more of a Morrissey fan myself, so
Morrissey?
it's very similar.
It's similar, but
I
come
go
on.
out tonight, but I haven't got a stitch to wear.
Oh my god! What is this? I wasn't expecting this.
No,
Yeah,
That's amazing.
One-
Keep going.
One thing I think we should point out, we've been ambushed with this. We knew we were coming to talk about doing a TV show, or a YouTube show, whatever you want to call it. We didn't actually know we were going to do one. So yeah, so apologies if we've been rubbish.
Yeah. We should say as well, there's a couple of, we're still working on it, but I happen to reside at the back of Block 2, which is known for coming up with some chants.
That's a rather noisy block.
Other people should also come up with chants, of course, but just for people to know, there's a couple of new ones coming. Yeah, that's a good one.
No.
I can't broadcast that. But, by now, I mean, Andrew Lawn has been awesome, hasn't he? Let's be honest, to start off with. It's obvious what the chant is, so everyone needs to sing this at the next game.
Go on.
He scores, goes, my lord, Andrew Lord. He scores, goes, my lord,
Andrew Lord.
He scores, goes, my lord, Andrew Lord. Goals, Andrew Lord.
Yes, that was very good. I like it. We've also got one for Dan Lacosta if and when he returns. Let's hope he
when he
does.
returns.
And it's
Hopefully
not
it's
quite as not that was comical at all, but it's almost it's good. Hopefully, it just goes la 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 Costa. So everyone's going to be doing that when he returns to the team, which I'm sure will be soon. Okay, because that's going to sound wicked with 2,000.
I like it very much. Wow, we were very nice. Gypsy, don't shrink me, Gypsy.
I don't know what's happening. What is happening?
Okay, that's great.
I think that's it, isn't it? So
I think we're
wrapping
I
up.
think we've clearly run out of material. Cheers.